Mazuma TV back in the building, man. What's going on, y'all? Shout out to Mazuma Nation. Shout out to the Mazuma Mob. We in the building as always, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive day. I'm on my way to go get it as always, man. I hope y'all doing the same. What I want to get into today, man, is the state of the 147-pound division and what me, as a boxing fan, want to see happen next at welterweight. You know what I'm saying? We just had one of the most meaningful fights in the past decade in the welterweight division between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. And Terrence Crawford was able to come out as a two-time undisputed world champion in two different weight classes. You know what I mean? Put on a dominant, beautiful performance, close to flawless performance from Terrence Crawford. But being as though it seems as if they're going to be fighting at 154 pounds, Errol Spence has been adamant about moving up. Terrence Crawford says he has trouble making the weight at 147 as well. So most likely they'll be having a rematch at 154 pounds. I feel like a lot of the guys at 147, I mean, there's a good fight going on at 147 between Mario Barrios and Dennis Ugas, but I feel like 147 could step it up a notch. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everybody's waiting to see what Terrence Crawford's going to do with them belts, because considering that he'll move up to 154, I can't imagine that he'll come back down. So he might vacate the titles just like how he did at 140. Won all the belts and then just got rid of them, moved up. So most likely he'll be doing the same thing, considering that he's older, you know what I mean? And he really can't afford much time to waste, you know what I mean? So I think he'll get up to 154 and try to make some big fights happen. But the rematch is definitely next up for him. So if he vacates the belts, it'll make fights definitely more enticing. But do we necessarily need the belts to see some great fights happen? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's more enticing for the fighters. It'll be more motivating. You know, it'll definitely give them some more leverage for their upcoming fights if they're able to have a couple straps on their side. But there's still some great fights that could be made with or without Terrence Crawford vacating them belts. And this is a fight that I'm going to continue pushing until I see it. I really would love to see, man, in all honesty, Keith Thurman and Jaron Ennis, man. Keith Thurman has been running his mouth, talking about how Terrence Crawford didn't beat the real champion. You know what I mean? Which is like idiotic to me. It doesn't really make any sense, but they let him rock nonetheless. You know what I mean? And he's saying how neither one of them guys are gonna want to fight him, as if they're ducking him. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I was avoided when I was coming up, and I'm avoided now. So it is what it is. Like, he's trying to push this narrative as if these guys are discouraged from fighting him, when the whole time it's really like karma that's kicking your ass. You know what I'm saying? It's really karma, because when you was at the top of the division, you ain't want to look their way. And now that you're at the bottom watching them guys up top, now you begging for an opportunity. You know what I mean? So one thing about them tables, they do turn. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, Keith Thurman has been going on and on and on, talking about, if you could beat me. I've never been defeated. I'm still about making the biggest fights happen. If you're about the biggest fights happening, man, then what bigger fight can you make at 147 that isn't Jaron Ennis? You know what I mean? Like I said, Crawford and Spence, they are bigger fights than Jaron Ennis, but they're not at 147 anymore, and they're busy fighting each other. So if you want to stay busy, if you want to get back in the mix, man, you came off of a win off Mario Barrios last year, or however long it was. What bigger fight is there out there for you? Stanionis is not a bigger fight than Jaron Ennis. You know what I'm saying? Who else? You already beat Mario Barrios. You Dennis Ugas, he's caught up with Mario Barrios right now. So what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to fight another tune-up? Are you going to fight a Josecito Lopez level fighter again? What is it exactly that you're going to do? This is very intriguing to me. You know what I'm saying? Because if Jaron Ennis, you know what I mean, is not lined up to fight anybody. I see he's been working out, but he's not necessarily locked in on camp. I don't think he has a fight date locked in yet or a contract signed. From what I know, I'll reach out to my people to see what's up. But what's going on, man? Let's see this fight happen. Keith Thurman versus Jaron Ennis. It's a big fight, man. It's something that Jaron Ennis deserves 1,000%. You know what I mean? He's been putting on some dominant performances, even against the fight against Karen. He's won every single round, regardless of what the people say or whatever negative criticism they want to put out there. He dominated that fight. Romain Villa looked phenomenal that fight. Sergey Limpinets looked phenomenal that fight. You know what I'm saying? Thomas Delorme got him up out of there in one round. Castillo Clayton got him out of there in 1 round. These are guys that are not elite fighters, but he's beating everybody that's in front of him, and that's all you could really ask from an up-and-coming contender. You know what I'm saying? So let's see this fight happen, man. I would love to see how Keith Thurman will match up with Jaron. Will he provide some type of difficulties for Jaron? Does he have what it takes to possibly defeat the most avoided fighter at 147? Because that's what Jaron Ennis is, hands down, and nobody can really convince me otherwise. You know what I'm saying? Boots is the most avoided fighter at 147. You know what I mean? You can have your little debates about who's the most avoided in boxing in general, but at welterweight, people don't want to look Jaron Ennis' way, man. So it's a dangerous fight. He has a lot of momentum on his side. A lot of people are talking about him. The boxing world is raving about Jaron Ennis and what he could possibly do in the sport of boxing. So if you're able to take on that challenge and overcome somebody as dangerous as Jaron Ennis, I think your respect in the boxing world will be restored. You know what I'm saying? Because as of right now, a lot of people don't really respect Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't respect Keith Thurman. They think he's a joke. They think he's a shell of himself. They think he's not the same. They think he's a ducker. There's a lot of things that people think about Keith Thurman. If he was able to beat Jaron Ennis, I think a lot of those that stigma around Keith Thurman will be reversed. That's what I honestly think. He'll definitely get a lot of respect out of me. But even if he were to get defeated by Jaron Ennis, which I believe will happen in all honesty, I still think that he'll get respect amongst the people for taking that challenge, because there's guys that aren't so willing to take the challenge. You know what I mean? And it's not them necessarily ducking. It's just them not finding the fight compelling as of right now in their career. Terrence Crawford said openly that, and Bomac as well. You know what I mean? Free Bomac, by the way. But they were saying how he doesn't bring anything to the table. You know what I'm saying? And it might be true in comparison that the guys that he wants to fight, you know what I mean, the Jermell Charlos, the Canelo Alvarez's, but regardless, they're not looking at Jaron Ennis' way. You know what I mean? Earl Spence was like, yeah, he'll do it, but it have to be a lot of money. But at this particular time, Jaron Ennis isn't bringing the most money to the table. So Earl's not even looking his way either. So if Keith Thurman were to step up and take that fight against Jaron Ennis, regardless of the outcome, I can see things, you know what I mean, people starting to look at Keith Thurman a little differently and a little bit more on the positive end, because right now, his reputation is down the drain. You know what I mean? I'm sure that he understands that, although I feel like he's extremely arrogant and think like his shit don't stink. You know what I mean? I'm sure he understands that his reputation isn't the same in comparison to when he was coming up in the game and beat Danny and beat Porter. You know what I mean? This is a way to reverse that, Keith. So let's make this shit happen, man. Keith Thurman versus Jaron Ennis. Let's put the pressure on these guys to fight each other, man. Do not let this man Keith Thurman do an interview without bringing up Jaron Ennis, bro. Keep that name in his mind. Keep putting the pressure on him as boxing fans, and hopefully we get to see a great fight like that happen, man. It's definitely, it's on the horizon. It just needs to be promoted just a little bit more. Let's show these higher ups that this is a fight that we want, that we willing to pay to see it. And we could really make this shit happen, man, but we got to come together. I can't be the only voice speaking on this, man. So hopefully I'm the catalyst behind the push for this fight, and we could see a big fight happen at 147 that's not Earl Spence or Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. What do y'all think of this fight right here, man? I appreciate you guys. I'll be on live later on. If y'all didn't check out the live yesterday, man, go check it out, man. I'm on the road to 1K. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you'll know when I'm posting or going live. I'm out of here, man. Peace.